Good.
Okay, so let's take this one first.
Let's talk about what the Parliament does. Each house has its own distinct role and functions as set out in the Constitution. However, there are also many instances when the two houses act together to conduct joint business. To simplify, we are referring to both houses of Parliament here. They have four main functions or areas of jurisdiction. The most important function of Parliament is that it considers, amends, and then passes draft laws called bills. Bills are usually prepared by the executive, but they can also be prepared by MPs. Bills are then discussed in parliamentary committees who may amend provisions and approve them before both houses of Parliament vote on whether to pass them. Parliament must ensure that all bills conform to the provisions of the Constitution. Let's talk about what the Parliament does. Each house has its own distinct role in many instances when the two...
Oh, that's not working. Never mind. So, Parliament does two things. It has what we call plenary debates or sittings. That's when all the members of Parliament sit in the big chamber. And we often see these noisy debates on the television, right? And that's what these are called debates when they vote on bills. But most of the work and the public hearings will be done by small groups of MPs called committees, okay? And the committee that's dealing with the Children's Amendment Bill is called the Portfolio Committee on Social Development. Now, the bill has to go through lots of different steps. There's going to be hearings in Cape Town at the National Parliament. Then that small group of MPs, the Portfolio Committee, will discuss and may make changes. And it'll go back to the big group in the National Assembly for all the MPs to vote on it once they've done their work. There'll then be hearings in the provinces. So in your local provincial parliament, you'll be able to go and tell them what you think of the bill. And again, they will have small groups of MPs that make suggestions for changes, and they'll come back to the National Parliament, and the National Council of Provinces will vote on it. And then once all of those changes have been put together, it'll go back to the National Assembly, where that same first small group will review the changes that have been made by other people, and the National Assembly, the big group of all the MPs, will vote on it again, and it'll be sent to the President. Now, the submissions are due, that date's wrong, should actually be the 27th of November. So we've still got a good 4 weeks in order to be able to have discussions with your local youth forums or in your organizations, and be able to write your submissions and put together your proposals in order to change the Children's Amendment Bill. So here's the programme. They've had their briefings, they've started to talk about it. That's the correct date. The submissions are due on the 27th of November. They won't actually have the face-to-face public hearings until February next year. But if you want to talk to the MPs, you have to tell them by the 27th of November that you want to come and make a presentation, that you want to come and talk to them. So that date in November is very, very important. This is where you send your submissions to. See that address there? Children's Amendment Bill at parliament.gov.za. Here's the advert that was placed in the newspaper. It's got all the details on it, and we will share that in the on the WhatsApp group and in the chat for this meeting, and it'll be emailed to all of the organizations that we know are working with young people. So key date, 27 November, and you email your written submissions or your request to talk to the MPs to this email address here, Children's Amendment Bill at parliament.gov.za. You can follow, for those of you who were in the last workshop, you all know that this is a picture of the PMG website, which stands for the Parliamentary Monitoring Group. And here I've looked at the Children's Amendment Bill. Very important that you use the right number of the bill. So it's B18, it's 2020. And it shows you where the bill is at. It was introduced in Parliament, it's now with the National Assembly. You've got the details of all the discussions that the MPs have had about the bill and the latest copies of it. There's the details for the WhatsApp group, and I've posted that in the chat. So take a note of that and you can join that WhatsApp group. All of the videos that we've done, all of the presentations that the speakers have made, both today and in the previous session, will be available. There's the videos from today about the Children's Act, the booklets. There's various other pieces of information and things to help you make your submissions. We'll also be monitoring that group so that if you have questions for Isabel or Paula or Imbanisi or any of the other speakers, we can make sure that they answer those questions and give you the help that you